I'm going to begin, guys, I'll just say, I mean, despite the fact that last year I really loved The Force Awakens, I feel that it had a kind of obligation to thrive in the notion of kind of nostalgia and kind of have a lot for the kind of fans and kind of lots of tie-ins with the original films. But I felt because this was a spin-off, did you think it gave you guys a bit more license to really identify your own kind of tone and style? And do you think that really benefits the finished product?
Well, I think that it's really the power of Rogue One is that it is a spin-off, and so it can go its own way. And Gareth, who is Gareth Edwards, our director, who is an enormous fan, like a profound Star Wars fan, really wrestled with whether or not to even do the film because he was such a fan. What finally drew him to it is he knew that if he didn't, he would regret it for the rest of his life. So he brings a real, a really devoted homage and vision of the, a New Hope world, but its own sort of take on it.
Because I mean, Gareth said he wanted to make a war movie, and there are even shades of kind of Saving Private Ryan to this and Apocalypse Now. It feels very gritty and quite relevant as well. I mean, is that how you guys kind of treated it? Does it help to, considering you're surrounded by kind of aliens and spaceships and stuff like that? I mean, do you need to find that humanity and that kind of pertinency to really try and understand it emotionally?
Absolutely, and we have to do that in all films, and especially in a sci-fi film. You have to remember that we are wearing our fanboy hats when we enter the set. They don't. This is part of their world. I mean, they don't look up and go, "Wow, look at that." Yeah. So yes, we'll have to find a normality within the lives of these characters, and the normality is that they're in the midst of a war, and it's a gritty place.
I was wondering if you guys gone back and watched any of the original films since making this, and if your relationship with the franchise has changed at all.
Yeah, I watched The New Hope again after this one, yeah, and well, it was hard to beat it because it all started there, right? But I didn't go and watch it because we were doing the film. I mean, I think you did a little more because you had to find your footing within the Imperial world.
Yeah. I did look at it for that. And since we've made it, I watched Awakens. I watched it the night before last, actually. But just for fun. And your relationship with it does change, I think, because you've been on those places, you've been in them, so you have a different sense of how they exist, and that's kind of cool. But the movies never lose their magic to me. They never lose that sense that you just get sort of carried away with them, even when you've sort of stood, on the sets and whatnot. They don't lose their magic.
And I remember there was a sort of celebration event for Star Wars a few months back, and I remember when you came in, Ben, everyone was kind of sort of fearful, and it was almost like that kind of pantomime, like booing, Yeah. And I was wondering, obviously, Mads, you'll know this as well, having played kind of villains before in movies. Mm. Is it quite fun being kind of feared in that regard, knowing that you kind of walk down the street and some people go, oh shit, I
don't think of it as being feared.
Respected.
I think of it as, look, I mean, that part of being able to look up there and go, I hate you, and blah, blah. It's a very, very safe and wonderful place to do it, is in drama or the films or wrestling or that, to be able to sort of go, all right, at something is a great thing. It's part of the joy of it, I think.
I think it's so great that the celebration thing there, we were actually just invited to sit in our normal clothes and do the interview. But he did come up with an idea of having an entrance, so that's how great it feels.
That was your idea?
Right? It was not only your idea, but you were not slow and says, yes, let's do that.
No, I thought it was I just thought it was nice to give the fans
it was
something, nice. Something of the actual film that we were doing, other than just the clip and whatnot. I was very glad. It was a fun moment.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. Much appreciated.
All too
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys.